Anytime? Oh.
They're going to be recording from Singapore, so we just set it up. Okay, Jan.
Hi, I'm 𝐿𝐥𝐲 here at the KL World Fives in Stadium Negara, KL, Kuala Lumpur. Now, I'm really excited because on this pitch behind me, defending champs Argentina are going to take on England in just a little bit. A couple of games have already been played today. Indonesia versus Australia. Australia led 5-1. China versus Brazil. Brazil won that 4-0. This has been dubbed the most lucrative tournament, the most lucrative futsal tournament in the world because we've got 10 countries vying for cash prizes worth $150,000 in total. So it's pretty exciting stuff. If you live in KL, you gotta be here at Stadium Negara checking out the futsal action. I'm gonna be giving more details later on in the week for Score Tonight, but for now, it's 𝐿𝐥𝐲 for Score Tonight.
Half-time highlights. Yep, going on. You've got all I need for half-time. Remember, don't panic. No, go to the tournament office during the first half and get. I don't know. Well, you know that bit of half-time that you threw to the highlights rather than the early match. I just need it by then because that's when we're doing the earlier matches. Yeah? All right. Okay. So for both matches, right?
She's a model and she's looking good.
Aye, Captain. Okay, so we have got, hello, welcome, big it up. Yep.
She's a model and she's looking good.
Stop singing. And he's got the grump on.
Huh?
You never played against Argentina, did you?
No, Brazil, not Argentina. She's a model and she's looking good.
Yep, okay.
Cue me when you've got 20
Yep.
seconds or something.
Yeah. Pen, Paul, please. Yep, okay. So the graphic is just a team of 5 starters, and then that's the team, let's meet them. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yep, okay. And then we just control the brake, yeah? Okay. Yeah, but I mean all the brakes are just basically, we go when everything's ready, yeah? 5 years after it first visited Kuala Lumpur, the KL World Fives is back, and the defending champions Argentina are back. Welcome to Star Sports live coverage of a Group A opener. Okay. Okay. Thanks, mate. Thunderstorm. Steve, come. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So he's just talking to me anyway. When they will occasionally cut to 11 that camera, Steve, but don't look to it. Just look to me naturally. They'll just cut to you as you're close up. But if you want to, you can go. Hi. Don't go changing.
Be back soon, folks.
Five years ago, the KL World Fives came along, and now it's back. We're in Kuala Lumpur, the Malaysian capital, at the Stadium Negara for the latest staging of the futsal tournament with the biggest prize purse of any in the world. Welcome to the Stadium Negara. Steve McMahon is with me here as we're about to bring you a match-up between Argentina, defending champions in this tournament, and England, who are minnows at this sport. Steve, a former World Cup player, 11-a-side. This is a different ball game, but are you excited about it?
Very much so. I've watched the first game there before with Brazil, and it's fantastic. The skill levels are unbelievable. I'm really looking forward to this, especially with England and how they adapt against a talented Argentinian team.
Well, they have to adapt to the rules, and we have to remind you that this is a very different game. Futsal, of course, is played indoors. Now, let's just give you the basics of this. It's a 45 by 25 metre court. It's a slightly smaller, much heavier ball. You won't see it flying around too much. Now, there's a squad of 12 named for each match. You can have 5 players on court at any time. You roll the substitutes on and off. 2 20-minute halves, but the clock stops when the ball goes out, so it will play much, much longer than that. Now, there's similarities with ice hockey and basketball. 5-team fouls. The team's allowed to commit 5 fouls. If they do any after that, they have a undefended free kick to deal with. We'll explain more on that as the game gets underway. 3 referees, 2 on the court and 1 sitting next to the timekeeper. And one of the differences you'll notice, they kick the ball in instead of throwing it, and there will be infractions in terms of the timing that will be picked up on. Now, as I said, what you have to do really is you just have to watch the game, learn the game. Steve will be learning as he goes along, and that's basically the way things work. Okay, then we're about to bring the teams out for this. I should explain there are 2 groups in this particular tournament, 2 groups of 5 teams. We're in Group A, and this really is going to be a tough test. Graham Dell, the England manager, knows how tough this is because Argentina, the defending champions, they're actually only ranked 7 in the world, but they will be right up there come the end of this tournament. There's the reception that greets them, and for England, this really is an extraordinary matchup. A very young-looking England side. They're mainly students and players who haven't really made it at the top professional level of 11-a-side football. But they're up against players who play professional futsal in Europe, in Argentina, and they really, really know the scope of the challenge that awaits them. Steve, this is a magical occasion because it's England-Argentina. At any code of the game, this is special, isn't it?
At any level, yes, it's always a big matchup. We know that. I am really looking forward to it. We've just seen, obviously, Brazil play China. Damage limitation, I think, was what China were after. If England can do the same, I think it'll be good, and it'll be interesting to see how they defend against Argentina.
We will hear, this is of course a FIFA-sanctioned tournament, and futsal is being promoted very heavily by FIFA, so you'll be hearing the anthems, you'll be seeing all of the accompanying march out, the player procession, the fair play banner, for example, because this is serious. These are some of the top teams in the world, some of the top players in the world. Now, as they come out here, let me just explain what has happened. Steve's alluded to it. Earlier on today, the tournament has gone underway. Australia scoring a good victory over Indonesia, and Brazil only 4-0 winners over China. Brazil having only flown into Malaysia this day, earlier on this day, and China put out a team that really has come a long way in a short time under a Brazilian management team. They defended well, and that's the sort of thing that Steve is hoping that England are going to be able to do against Argentina. Argentina, in comparison, arrived on Sunday. They trained straight away, and they really do know what it takes to win here in Kuala Lumpur. What do you make of the venue, quickly, Steve?
I think it's fantastic. It lends itself to a fantastic atmosphere, and with the dome shape and everything, I'm really looking forward to it. Atmosphere is great.
Well, it's all smiles from Argentina. They know that they're really white-hot favourites to win this one. Just a word about the atmosphere. The stadium will fill later. Malaysia are in action, and it's actually Argentina against Malaysia tomorrow. But right now, this is a FIFA tournament, so it's time for us to listen in for the national anthems of Argentina and England.
And now, the national anthem of England.
A highly familiar anthem as we prepare to bring you live action from Kuala Lumpur on Star Sports from the KL World Fives. Welcome to the Stadium Negara, where it's England shaking the hands of the officials who hail from Southeast Asia in the main part, and Argentina, defending champions at the KL World Fives, and a team with a formidable reputation. In a moment we'll meet the two sides, but there really is a golfing class between the two of them, with a very young England setup that only gets together once a month for something like 4 hours at a time. Now let's compare that with Argentina, who have professionals playing over in the major European leagues in Italy and Spain. And if we take a look at their starting lineup, I can tell you that they have got one or two high-quality players. Look out for Daniel Elias in goal. He, believe it or not, is a goal-scoring goalkeeper. The side will actually be captained by number 8, José Luis Godoy. Let's meet him and his teammates.
Mi nombre es Santiago Elías y soy el arquero de la selección argentina de futsal.
Mi nombre es Mauro Tafarel y soy el cierre de la selección.
Soy el número 8, mi posición es universal.
Mi nombre es Cristian Borruto, mi posición es universal.
Mi nombre es Santiago Basile y mi posición es ala.
And let's have a look at the England starting five. Remember, it's unlimited substitutions out of the squad of 12. It'll be captained by the number 4, Richard Follett, formerly of Coventry City as a youngster, but now with Solihull Moors. He's been away from futsal, but he's back with a side which really is very experimental. Well, there they are. Let's meet the starting five.
Dean Thornton, goalkeeper. Mark Cannon, pivot.
Richard Follett, captain and defender.
Nick Colley, forward.
Ashley Allenson, central midfield.
And straight away there, as we take a look at Ashley Allenson, we've heard a phrase that you will be hearing in the course of this one, pivot. Now, Steve is unashamedly new to this game, and we'll be learning as you go along. We've had an opportunity to do some homework, to watch these matches, but let me just spell this out once again. Steve, that England setup, the squad, you've got players from the Ryman Premier League, the Conference North and South, but it's clubs like Gloucester City, Rugby Town, Solihull Moors, as I mentioned, Farsley Celtic from the Conference. These are not 11-a-side players, and I think you have to get that out of your head, don't you, straight away?
Definitely. It's a total different ball game, pardon the pun, but I mean, they have to do it in the way that it should be done, and you've got to try and experiment. The pivots, as you say, is important because you need an out ball. You always need that out ball in this game, otherwise you're just defending throughout the game.
Steve, I'm looking forward to seeing how your appreciation of the game grows as we go along, but let's just put this in perspective. England ranked 119th in the world. Argentina ranked 7th. Defending champions. England have played 46 times at futsal. They have only won on one occasion, an 8-7 victory against Greece. So do not be surprised if this looks a lot like one-way traffic. Our officials then, the lead referee is Barlas Porfirio from the Philippines, and he's assisted by Somsak Ritiron from Thailand, third referee from Indonesia, and we also have a timekeeper from Indonesia. Let's get to the kickoff then. You're live on Star Sports at the KL World Fives. It's Argentina who are actually kicking us off here. The crowd are really looking forward to this one. We've seen some good South American skills from the Brazilians already today, but this should be an absolute futsal masterclass from the defending champions. Captain on the ball straight away, Godoy, quickly moving it to the right-hand side. Steve, straight away, let's just pick up on the way they control and move the ball.
Yes, I mean, it's interesting, it really is, because I think at the first start anyway, what I'm noticing, England are just defending for their life. They're getting 4 men behind the ball. They haven't had possession yet, which is important. They need to get possession, settle themselves down, and see how the game pans out.
Spoke to Graham Dell, the head coach of England futsal, before the game, and he wasn't embarrassed to say he's asked his players to try and keep the score below 15 if possible. As the first shot goes wide, no real problem there for Dean Thornton in goal, and that strike coming in there from Cristian Borruto. Argentina haven't come with a full-strength side. They've left 1 or 2 players behind in Italy and Spain, where they play in the leagues, but they have got some high-quality performers. Numbers 2 and 3, that's Pablo Belcito and Ignacio Cavilla, both play professionally in Spain, as England enjoy some early possession. Steve monitoring their technique. The ball is stopped and moved in one movement, just to try and be a bit quick and get you out of trouble.
Yes, that's what you have to do. You have to move the ball quickly. The players are moving all over the court. We know that. And this is not bad by England. I like the start. They've actually put 2 or 3 men up front as soon as the goalkeeper had it, which is fantastic. So they're taking the game to Argentina.
Dean Thornton playing at the back, and he's, of course, able to come out. Now there's danger for them as Argentina break. It's the captain breaking down the right-hand side. He's not picked out, but straight through the middle. And that is the opening goal. Straight through the heart. And that's Christian Boruto scoring the first goal.
Well, it's not the start England wanted, is it?
No, that really was very, very soft, straight through the middle, and this could turn out to be a very, very tough encounter for them if they concede as easily as that. We saw Jose Larrañaga, the very experienced coach of this Argentine side, and that is the real worry for them. Graham Dell's just making a point to the third referee. He feels that there was a foul in the build-up to that goal. As it is, it's 1-0 to Argentina. And this is the big problem for England. They are aware that if one goes in early, it could turn into a rout.
Well, I mean, 1 minute 34 seconds they've played, and England are one down. It's the worst possible start for them.
Basile to the right-hand side, and on the ball a lot, Boruto early on in the piece. Godoy is just staying to the left-hand side. Taffarel, the player who is sitting deep for Argentina right now, moving it well, plenty of patience. And it's just asking those England players to work and keep their defensive discipline up. One lapse, and Argentina will pounce again. Basile again, nicely done, under the keeper. That's two, and this is looking ominous for England.
Yeah, it could be a rout. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's, again, England not tracking the players, and that's what it's all about. You have to be nimble, and you have to make sure you track your runners. England are not doing that.
Santiago Basile, the goal scorer, and that really did look easy. They moved it wide, and there was a fault with the restart. They're just going to ask England to restart the game. But now Graham Dell's got serious concerns. He's talking to the third referee. He's been asked to go back to his technical area.
He's already getting frustrated, John, isn't he? You know, you can see that straight away, 2 down, and it looks ominous. It really does.
Real problem really here for Graham Dell in that he doesn't work with his players that often either. I'll break off as it's another attack. That time rather wasted. You tend not to see shots taken too early. You tend to see a ball played for the far post. And there is the man who has a program which he calls F30, Futsal 30. And he gets the players together at 𝐕-𝐒𝐻𝐈, which of course is the headquarters for the sport in England. Let's remind you that as we bring you this broadcast, I have Steve McMahon alongside me, but we'll bring you the very latest from the floor. Andy Penders is working pitch side today, and I think Andy's been listening to some choice words from the England bench so far. Let's hopefully hear from Andy in a moment. Okay, let's get down to pitch side and Andy Penders.
Yeah, some choice words from Graham Dell, guys. It's quite funny, every time Argentina score, he wants to get the game started straight away. And he doesn't want any messing around. And so I'm presuming they want to get the game started quickly after every Argentine goal. There's going to be loads of them.
Sykes there is on the ball, moving across. Holbrook looking to offer. This is better from them. And England really just need to keep some possession, Steve, don't they? And try and work with, as I said earlier on, this is a group of players. They get together once a month, maybe for 4 hours.
Yes, I agree. It really is difficult for them. But I think the problem lies with England when they do have the ball, because it's dangerous for them. Because as soon as they give it away, Argentina will hit them on a break, on a counter-attack. I mean, they're amazing. They really are. So it's actually a very, very dangerous game England are playing.
We're going to see 1 or 2 new faces. Federico Dottolo with the ponytail is number 7. Let's just remind you, it's rolling substitutions. They must enter and exit the pitch, though, from the technical area. If you don't do so, you will be penalised, and there will be a yellow card handed out for that. Oh, it's an open goal. Arriving late, I don't know if you got a clear look at that one, but it was a decent opportunity, missed in the end by Massimiliano Brescia.
But this is typical of this game where everything's hit to the far post with players coming in late, and it's interesting how they play this game.
Huge gaps opening up once again, a little slip, and that's just gone wide. Stuck a foot out there, Dean Thornton, and he really is beleaguered at the moment because England just lost their shape once again there.
Yeah, they're all over the place. They are. I mean, there's no communication. You've got to pick up runners and pass people on. That's the important thing.
Luis Gonzalez with the take. Get it back and go again. Very difficult, obviously, to do anything from a corner. The players must be 5 metres from the ball, incidentally. Dottolo there, works it to the right. Here's space for a shot. And it's another good save with his feet by Thornton, but it's not gone yet. Another save, this time scrambling. And England really are under the cosh here in Kuala Lumpur. Dottolo once again, breaking through the middle. almost a toe poke, and we see that a lot, Steve.
Yeah, and that's the last thing England wants, is the goalkeeper, Dean Thornton, to give the ball away.
England going to have to be very, very careful with their challenges as well. The desperation and the desperate nature of some of their challenges. Let's just remind you another of the rules. A team is allowed to concede up to 5 fouls or free kicks in a half without any kind of punishment for that. If they should get more than that, i.e. if they commit a 6th, 7th, 8th foul, for each one of those, the opposition gets to take an undefended free kick from a second penalty marker. It's a free kick marker 10 metres out from goal. That was a decent little move forward there. England have refreshed their side as well. Shane Gill, the player who's playing as the pivot or the leading player. And there is Senor Larrañaga looking on once again. Won't be unduly worried about anything he's seen so far. Thornton on the ball, under pressure, plays it wide. And they're getting busy, England, but not really going too far at the moment. And that's given away. Now it's an opportunity for the Argentines to regroup, as they will do so. Tidy players, of course, technically all of them. Luis Gonzalez on the ball at the moment. Dottolo pushing forward into the pivot role for them is Vaporaki. It's Dottolo, played at their own pace now, Argentina. Movement on the right-hand side. There he is, picked out wide, and that was always going to be an ambitious shot. Was Thornton able to prevent that one going out? Didn't look like it. Going back to the situation that Graham Dell faces, Steve, he's always changing his side. He's only had the same squad for 7 of the 46 matches that England have had to play. He has trouble getting players released from clubs. Obviously, that's their job in many of their cases.
Yes, it is. I mean, that is a big, big problem. And you don't get together enough. You need to be organised. So it's going to be a difficult afternoon. It really is. But, I mean, they've started bright. The 2 goals has killed them early on, but they're being positive, and I don't know whether that's a good or a bad thing, you know. And Richard Follett is trying to organise his team. He really is. He's trying to make sure that they don't concede another one straight away.
Well, here they come once again, Argentina. Gonzalez on the right-hand side. It's Dottolo who really is the playmaker in this particular 4-man outfield lineup that they put together. You'll very often, Steve, see all 4 players change. They'll take the ball across to the technical area and basically just leave it and run off the pitch, and another 4 will come on. A total transfusion, I think, was the phrase that Jamie Reeves used when he first watched this sport. And, of course, it is surprisingly tiring. Graham Dell talked about the need to pick up a squad of players who are anaerobically very, very good indeed. But it's about the ball, and you know that, don't you? It's about the ball,
and we've seen the warm-up as well, John, and I have to touch on it. Oh, here we go, it's a breakaway.
Gonzalez! Keeper came to the edge of his D and did very well. Still not cleared. Brescia this time. Now opening up for the shot was Gonzalez once again. Thornton standing between Argentina and a big, big score.
He could be the busiest man on the park all evening. I think he's got a massive job to do. He really has. And he's already made 3 or 4 tremendous saves.
What a strike. Thornton was completely unsighted. Didn't see that at all, judging by his reaction. And it's Brescia who's drilled that in. Here's the quick restart, and they've been penalised. This is what Graham Dell, thanks to Andy Penders, was trying to convey to the officials. He wants the restart taken quickly. They weren't having it there.
No, I know. It's difficult, but I'm surprised England want to start it quick. They want a bit of a respite, I think. There we go again. They give the ball away in silly areas, and Argentina just picking them off for fun.
Dottolo comes through once again. Was it a back pass? Was it a back pass? They appeal for it. The second referee says yes. Now, if we get a replay on this one, it was pushed back towards him, and you have to feel the officials have probably got this one right.
Yes, they have. If that's the rules, then you can't do it. And England are coming to terms with all these rules. There's lots of them, but I think you mightn't be gifted or technically gifted, the England players, but they should still know the rules of the game, and that's simple for me.
Let's take a look at the players over this free kick. There's a little discussion between Taffarel and the captain, Godoy, who hopefully will have seniority in this debate. Here he is with the shot. Tried to lift it. Thornton came to the edge of the D once again. Little break on there. That's Follett trying to lead by example, but he's dispossessed. And once more, it's a break down the left-hand side. Taffarel, far post. Exactly what Steve McMahon was talking about. They'll play that ball all game long.
Yes, they will. That's a bit like in the big game, you know, in the Premier League, Pomo position. It's the position of maximum opportunity, and he'd play it well here.
Bringing the ball out from the back is Mark Canham. And once more, we saw this with the Indonesian side when they played against Australia earlier on today. The goalkeeper making up an extra outfield player. And why not, provided the touch is good enough. The rule that Steve was alluding to earlier does concern restarts with the goalkeeper. He's allowed to throw the ball out. And when he does so, he can't get it back off a back pass until the ball has gone into the opponent's half or has been touched by an opposition player. That is to cut out negative play. That's well taken in the end there by 𝐿𝐴𝐻, and he's worked it back. This is a decent little spell for England. It's all relative. Follett pushing it forward. Have they got anything about them here? Again, it's patient play. 𝐁𝐴𝐻 getting a good sight of the ball up front there.
Yeah, they've only got 12 more minutes to keep the ball, John. That's the problem.
𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐳𝐫𝐭, the other player there, who's doing it. But you can see where I'm coming from, Steve. They just need a spell of possession. And as I say that, of course, the ball is passed straight out. So it's a restart for Argentina. Interesting to see how they're disciplined here, Argentina. They know they're going to win this match. How do they play? Do they go for goals all the way through? Do they just get the effects of jet lag out the way?
A bit of both. I mean, you can afford now to just keep ball and see what happens. Rotate the squad, give them game time, all of them, and then in the process try and get a few goals.
And that's nicely intercepted, and it's a little break there. Nothing really in the way of options going forward for Lee Holbrook. Follett on the ball right now. 𝐿𝐴𝐻, who's seen a lot of it, tidy enough. Just about got away with that one, almost dispossessed. 𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐳𝐫𝐭 again. He makes himself available wide. Good movement once again from 𝐿𝐴𝐻. That is very nice indeed from England. Good shape to their play there, but is there a final end product on this one? No. Tackle comes in there from the captain, and Argentina, by way of a change, pinned back in their own half.
Yes, but they've settled down a little bit, England. It was a nervy start, we know that, and they have settled down, and fair play to them. They're not going to ball about. I just hope that they can actually get a goal or two, maybe. Put a bit of pressure on Argentina.
Paul Madison arrives on the pitch there. Unfortunately, isn't able to make anything happen there. He's the only outright futsal player in the entire team, Paul Madison. Plays his futsal for a club in the northwest of the country. Tranmere have a strong tradition of playing futsal, but there are very few out-and-out futsal playing clubs. Here's a break through the middle, and this is the first glimpse we've seen of the very lanky Pablo Belcito. He's one of the players who plays professionally overseas. Good money to be made from futsal as well, Steve. There are big leagues being played in Russia, in the Ukraine, Spain and Italy.
It's massive, isn't it? I mean, England need to do a lot more of this, I think, for youngsters especially. They play too many large-sided games for me, 11 against 11.
As England continue to enjoy a touch or two of the ball in the opposition's half. A shot comes in just wide of the goal. Let's return to the floor, to the pitch side, where Andy Penders has got something more for us. Andy.
Thanks, Graham. Yeah, thanks, John. Graham Dell is urging his team to drive forward. He's a bit worried that they're playing from side to side. They need to drive forward more. The Argentine coach is more concerned that their finishing hasn't been up to its usual standards.
Thanks very much, Mr. Penders. Pitch side where it's very lively indeed, but after those two goals went in early on, England have just about managed to slow things down. They trail by 3-0. If you're just joining us here, and it's nearly 4, as Dean Thornton gets down and makes yet another save. You're watching the KL World Fives live on Star Sports, and now you've got to be very careful here. See what the player was doing there. He very nearly committed an offence at the changeover. Now that's Michael Skubala who was coming in. Had he come onto the court before the other player had left, he would have got a yellow card, Steve.
It's quite easy to do though, John, you know. It really is, because you're excited, you want to get on the pitch, and if you cross over before you should do, then you're penalised.
Not really too many options available on the far side for Ashley Allenson, who was one of the starting 5, and it's back and back and back. Madison, the deepest player, and he just about gets away with that when it was Skubala who was dispossessed. Skubala, one of the late changes coming into this side, and I spoke, Steve, about the fact that Graham Dell really doesn't have the same group of players together that often. He always has to select from, he's got a 20-man squad that he considers to be more or less permanent futsal players. He's got 10 that he floats, so he keeps a group of 30 at the end of his phone, if you like, and he's able to call them up for matches. Now that's a well-affected change of player there by Argentina. And what he says is that he just has to treat it as a group, and he could change all of the players. I'll break off, because here's a great chance for England! And he's poked it wide. Not a great deal of composure there. And Shane Gill had a chance of glory. Shane Gill's just a student. He's at Worcester University. He's not affiliated to any club, and what a moment that would have been for him.
Should have scored, John.
And now at the other end, it's Argentina. Oh, beautifully tucked away. That gets the McMahon seal of approval.
Yes,
he really, really did like that one. Quality in the finish there. That one coming in from 𝐕-𝐒𝐻𝐵𝐿, and a timeout has been called by England and Graham Dell as we see the finish there. Neatly done.
This is what the futsal's all about. It's about movement like that and passing like that, and England are not coming to terms with it. Timeout is called, and they need it desperately.
It's 4-0 to Argentina in Kuala Lumpur, and I'm sure that Mr. Penders is eagerly listening in on the England side of things. Not quite sure how good his Spanish is, but I've got a feeling he might be over with Graham Dell and company. Well, if you are Graham, what do you say?
You say track your runners and make sure that you don't leave people free. You can't afford to do that in this game. You switch off for 1 second and it's a goal. These will punish you. Quality players of Argentina will punish you, and that's what's happening with England. But they're quite positive, to be honest. They're passing it, they have lots of possession, but the problem is they give it away, and then all of a sudden they're conceding goals.
Well, those are the words of Larrañaga, who is an absolute legend in this game. He's been involved with Argentina for many, many years now, and of course masterminded their triumph in Kuala Lumpur in the last staging of the KL World Fives. What was magnificent about that, Steve, was that they beat their arch rivals, Brazil, the three-time world champions, in the final. They needed a golden goal to do so, but it was a wonderful, wonderful occasion here in Kuala Lumpur. Okay, let's just find out what was said by Graham Dell there. Andy Penders can give us some insight. Andy. Okay, I don't think Andy's picked up that one. Let's just carry on for a minute, and hopefully we'll hear from Andy in a moment or two. As it is, though, it's Argentina now looking perhaps to up the tempo. Brazil looked a bit jet-lagged today, Steve, didn't they? And they were held out for a long, long time by the Chinese.
A well-organised Chinese team as well. I mean, he never took the game to Brazil because they couldn't, because they weren't good enough. But they were organised, and I think England have got it wrong. They're trying to take the game to Argentina. They haven't got the skill and ability to do so, and they're getting punished.
Well, there he is, the player who had a chance. He's very nearly given it away there, and Sykes then gets his head down, and Gill rather drives forward. Ashley Allenson lay off back to the keeper, but again, where's the option? Immediately Argentina closed the keeper, because as I said, Steve, he knows that he can't get that back again, and that really is pressure if you play through the goalkeeper. Well, here they come once again.
Yep, and the goalkeeper's important in this game.
All right, let's just break in there, Steve, and see if we can get back to Andy Penders. Andy, have you got something for us?
Yeah, I have. And Graham Dell was talking about his England side getting the basics right, and they haven't done it again.
Neatly done once again, neatly done, and that one's tucked in.
And John, it's again not tracking runners. I mean, Allison, for England, has not tracked the runner, and then they've hit the palm-up position again. Look, it goes back stick, and it's a simple tap in. It's about runners, and you see the number 8, Allison. He's not stayed with the runner, and it's a simple goal. That's what it's all about.
He's
this game.
Worked very hard for his second goal there. 𝐕-𝐒𝐻𝐵𝐿 He gave it, made the run, as you said, Steve, wasn't tracked, and now it's 5. And this is a sport in which you can see 20s and 20-plus scores. We've seen it. We've had this tournament in Kuala Lumpur. A few years before that, we had 2 stagings of a similar tournament in Singapore. And here they come once again. That's a very, very tight angle. And you'd back the keeper there.
Yes, I touched on the keeper there, John. I mean, it's not just important that he's shot-stopping. It's important his distribution. We've seen it, China against Brazil, and the goalkeeper was very poor in his distribution. He needs to be better than that, Dean Thornton, when he has it. We know he's not bad at shot-stopping, but his distribution is poor.
And once again, he was almost unsighted there as Massimiliano Brescia, who's already scored, just looked for a little flick on goal there. There he is. It's the throw out. You can go as long and high as you want with the ball in futsal. No restrictions there. That's a nice little turn, that. Neatly done. Nick Colley, who's shown a touch or two, Steve. He plays up front, the number 7. Just look at him moving off the ball here. And there's a chance for England! Trod in! And they've scored a goal. And driving up from the back, and it was Follett who got forward. The captain just showed the determination.
Brilliant. He's been excellent. He really has, Follett. He's been a joy to watch. He's trying to organise his team. He nips it past, and it's a great strike. It really is.
Quality there, and that really will lift the England spirits. 5-1 they trail, but they've scored against the defending KL World Fives champions. And really, it was a product of great determination there. Collie looked as if he might receive the ball, but Follett took matters into his own hands, and there he is winning a good tackle. That's good. As we saw with China earlier on, you need support from the bench. Every time you make a block, a tackle, you need the spirit, don't you?
Of course you do, and that organisation spirit, you need everything, but you also need the technique as well. If you haven't got that, then you're going to struggle.
Once again, Thornton, he doesn't just have to make saves, he's got to be cool on the ball, Steve. He can't afford to let that first touch desert him.
That's right, he's almost an outfield player, and he becomes an outfield player when it's active. So, yeah, his distribution is very, very important.
Richard Follett wasn't actually originally selected in the squad to travel here. But he went away from futsal. He was part of Graham Dell's setup, left the game for a period of time, plays, as I said, 11-a-side for Solihull Moors, but he's come back in, and I bet he's glad he did just that. Quick look at the foul count now. And just the one, so no major foul trouble that will concern England right now. So Argentina, they've gone into a bit of a lull, haven't they, Steve?
They have, yeah, and England have got the tails up. But you see the keeper for Argentina, Elias, I mean, he's trying to be that extra player, outfield player, and it's working well for them.
I'll tell you something interesting about Daniel Elias. I was speaking to one of the assistant Argentine coaches earlier on. He said Elias was recently the top goal scorer in a championship staged in Argentina. Now, he didn't say whether he played in goal or out in that tournament, but that's quite something, isn't it?
I think goalkeepers always think that they make good centre forwards. They always do. I've never seen a keeper yet who doesn't fancy himself as an outfield player.
Great athleticism just now by Thornton, who made some good decisions as well when he came outside the D, and he chose not to use his hands quite correctly. There is Elias getting over the halfway line. He will have a shot on him, though. Belzito, and that was never going to trouble the keeper. That's a great bit of thinking. He's tried to chip the keeper. He knew he was off his line.
Bit ambitious, to say the least.
Now, from a restart, you aren't able to score, but from open play, he would have been able to score there. Dottolo, who does like to drive it from the middle. There is the change. England looks as if they're going to make a total transfusion any minute now. They've got 4 substitutes about to come in. This might be the opportunity for them. The bibs come off. The bibs are handed over. Here they come. That's a nice little camera angle. They've only got a couple of them on there, Steve.
Yes, they're waiting for again to try and change it again. Because, I mean, it's sapping, energy sapping this game. It really is. I mean, it's humid and hot in the stadium, as well as they're getting pulled and pushed about all over the place.
Pablo Belcito works it out to the right-hand side. And then he goes for the ball again. That struck the arm, did it? No, not given. Canham gets into trouble, and they're panicking at the back. Allenson stabs at that one, but now they're in trouble because it's an opportunity. Good feet. Just delayed a bit too long, and that gave Collie a chance to come in with the block. Just took a bit too long over that one. That's uncharacteristic there of Christian Boruto. Spins away for a corner for Argentina. Stress levels for Dean Thornton right now, Steve. They'll be right up there. There he is again.
Save, a great save. Barotto looks clever to me. He looks hungry for goals. Every opportunity, he's trying to get a goal, and fair play to him.
It's a corner once more. Dottolo looking very busy. Oh, that's not a good strike.
Oh, dear.
And that, once again, he's just come off the game a little bit there. Boruto. He was in a good position, couldn't get the strike away cleanly, and couldn't make anything of it second time round. Thornton actually has just been released by Wickham. He was playing professionally with them, Steve, but clearly hasn't quite made the grade.
Well, you can see why, John, because he hasn't got a big presence about him, has he? He's barely, 5'10", maybe? So to be a keeper, you must have a big presence about you.
Now watch this, the ball goes to the ground, and once you do so with the kick in, the restart, you must get rid of it within 4 seconds, and the assistant referee stands there. Here's a chance! Oh, that's beautifully scored. Nothing wrong with that from Boruto.
He's unbelievable, isn't he? Said, just touched on it before. He just wants goals, and that's what it's all about. This game is goals, and plenty of them.
They thought there might have been a foul in the build-up to that one, and I have to say I've got some sympathy with England there. Let's have a little look once more. Well, Boruto just wanted the goal, as you said, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, it was easy for him to stay down and get the foul or the free kick, and he didn't. He sees a goal. This is dangerous.
Oh, here they come. Lovely feet. Oh, and the keeper gets it somehow this time.
Absolutely. It was a wonderful bit of skill.
I like him. I like number 7, Steve Dottolo, Federico Dottolo. He has got a bit of class about him. Here's a change for Argentina. I think it's all 4. And there we are.
I like the Rotto's ponytail, John. I wish I had one.
Well, you're getting there.
I'm getting there, yeah. Oh, it's all down my back. Not on my head, but all down my back.
OK, Brescia to this completely changed Argentina side. And here's an opportunity. They didn't go with a man then. They weren't punished. Oh, that's beautiful. Good save. Good save, that one, because England have just lost the concentration for a moment.
He's just waltzed past Madison. Madison has got to defend properly. If you don't do that, and we've touched on it, you're going to get murdered. You've got to stay with runners and defend it.
Very important block by Lee Holbrook, who showed discipline on the far post there. Madison on the ball once again. It's a tremendous thunderstorm raging outside the Stadium Negara here in Kuala Lumpur, but that's not going to worry us too much. It's a great setting, this, Steve. Argentina and England are playing futsal here, but some years ago this was probably most famous as a badminton venue in the glory days of Malaysian badminton when they won the Thomas World Team Cup for men, beating Indonesia. This place was absolutely rocking. Well, Holbrook's touch just lets him down there, takes him away from where he wanted to be. Allenson, Madison, back to the keeper. Really no penetration from England here. Oh, great drive. That wasn't bad technique in the end there from Ashley Allenson. Madison's
again, look at this.
He's in danger.
𝐂𝐴𝐳𝐶.
Oh, and why did he delay the pass? That was an obvious goal on. Here's a chance. And once more the technique. On this occasion, difficult, dropping over the shoulder. Holbrook couldn't do anything with it.
That was an opportunity both ends. I mean, it was very, very selfish play. It really was. It's a tap in if he looked square. But he never did, and sloppy by Argentina.
There's
it really was.
Just a bit of concern about the roof. I said that there's no problem with the rain, but one of the referees thinks that there might have been a bit of rain dripping through the roof. I'd imagine it's more likely to be sweat. The goalkeepers are looking up. Let's see if Andy Penders is keeping his footing downstairs. Andy?
Yeah, I am. I reckon that the stadium's been struck by lightning about 4 or 5 times now. The English players are actually hoping that the game gets called off because of a power cut, but we do have rain pouring down into the Argentine goalmouth.
Thanks very much, Andy. That's a concern. We're just hearing from the TV production area here at the Stadium Negara that they lost lights and power. It's a quite amazing storm outside, but if you spend any time in Kuala Lumpur, you kind of get used to this. Right, Argentina not worried about the weather because they have a chance to score. Quick feet, well blocked. And there he is. He's impressive, this fellow, Collie. He looks as if he's one of the few England players who've got the natural ability, the smartness about their futsal to just get them out of trouble, Steve.
That's right. You need to be nimble. You need to be quick. Good feet. I agree. And Follett is a decent little player as well. He's suited to this kind of football.
We talk about this game being very different from the 11-a-side game, but of course some of the greatest players of the 11-a-side game grew up playing this. Ronaldo, the larger of the Ronaldos, I suppose we'd say these days. He grew up playing it. You can see it in the way he finishes. He stabs the ball. He takes early shots. He wrong-foots goalkeepers. The likes of Zico, Pelé, Cristiano Ronaldo, because it's very big in Portugal, all played this game. And oh, there he is. That's why he's a goal scorer. And there he is again. Elias, for the first time, getting forward and showing some real venom in the shot. I think he might have fouled his man as well.
Ah, it's brilliant. That's what we want to see. It's entertainment, good value, and fair play to him. I like that.
He's got a strike on him, but you'd expect that from a goalkeeper. Here we are.
Yeah, it's great to see. It really is. This is what this game's all about. Excitement. I'd love to see the stadium full. I really would, and maybe it will as the tournament progresses.
Graham Dell has spoken about how important it is for young players to grow up playing this game rather than worrying about the 11-a-side game, and that echoes a comment made by the great Brazilian 𝐒𝐽𝐻𝐵𝐭, which I'll bring you in a minute after this attack. Too easy. Too easy. Straight through the heart of England's defence once again. And it's a second goal for Massimiliano Brescia.
Well, we've just seen him. It's a toe poke as well as what we were talking about. You don't have to strike it with your instep or your laces, if you like. You can toe poke it into the net, and this is clearly what they do. You see, too easy again. He walks past. Yeah, but that's a great goal. You know that.
It's a lovely little clip that demonstrates it. He rolled the ball under his foot to get it moving, and then he had the toe poke away there. Here's another opportunity, and England are getting ripped apart. What a great goal that was. really fantastic give and go, driving forward there, and in the end the finish came from Ignacio Cavilla.
Oh, it's unbelievable, and I've said before, this is what Argentina are all about. England should be awake to the fact that they've got to stay with runners, otherwise it's going to be 20, 25 possibly. Keep the score down, boys, will you?
Well, they're doing well so far. It's only 8. It's 8-1. I say only. 39, 38 now seconds to go in this first 20-minute half, but England really are flagging right now. They'll need to get to the half-time interval, regroup, because Argentina look as if when they want to, they can really drive at England. Good interception made there. That was 𝐕-𝐒𝐻𝐵 having to do some defending. And of course, it's really been about attack most of the time here for Argentina. Cannon back on the court and rolls the ball back. Colley is going to use his goalkeeper. Thornton over the halfway line. That's really too easy. And there's 𝐿𝐼𝐴S, and he has an eye for goal. Not too far away there. You should expect him to score a few of those, shouldn't you?
Yeah, he's a great strike as well. A great technique by the goalkeeper, 𝐿𝐼𝐴S. Yeah, I like
Inside
him.
the final 10 seconds, Steve, of this half, and it really is turning out to be very, very difficult indeed for England. 15 was what their coach thought they would try and keep it to. They're just about on course for that, but the game will open up as it stretches out. And that brings us to the end of the first half here at Stadium Nagara. We've had lightning outside, and we've had lightning quick breaks from Argentina inside. They have been superb. They have 8 goals. They have 3 players on 2 apiece, and Boruto, 𝐕-𝐻𝐵 and 𝐵RECIA, and they really are making the running here at the KL World Fives. All smiles from Argentina as we come to a half-time break. We'll be back very soon with more. Okay. Where's the makeup, mate? Makeup. Mind if I just dab a bit?
So get the square one.
The green one. Green makeup, thanks. Yeah. Okay. First. Yeah. Welcome back to the Stadium Negara Sports Centre. All the latest news from around the world and, of course, here in Malaysia. It's been great to see the Sports Centre Malaysia team on the ground here in Kuala Lumpur. And, of course, they'll be reporting from the KL World Fives. OK, so half-time. 8-1. Argentina lead England in this Group A encounter at the KL World Fives. Steve, I don't think we're that surprised about it. And as we take a little look at what's been happening, you know, is it 8-1 a reflection that's fair?
Yes, it is. It is. But I've been surprised with England. They've actually played well. They've kept possession quite well, but defended, I mean, awful. You can't afford to let Argentina bypass you with passes. Look at this. He's walked through the defence, and it's a simple goal.
Yeah, the problem really started there when England were looking to consolidate. They couldn't do so. It just takes one individual mistake. You let one player go. Baruto, in this instance, coming through the middle. And we know that he's got a great eye for goal, isn't he? He's got a couple of goals already.
He's a great player. I mean, so great players, you don't allow them in the space. I mean, he's walked past the England defenders as if there's no one there. I like the look of him. He could be the top goal scorer in this competition.
And that was Santiago 𝐕-𝐒𝐲𝐫𝐭 who put the second goal in there. As we see, it's the give and the go, and in this instance, the guilty player not tracking back was 𝐂𝐳𝐬𝐬𝐬. You can almost pinpoint every time there's a player who's just not quite done the work. That one I'd like to see the angle for. Was he unsighted, the keeper?
Yeah, well, it's a great strike. I mean, you can't defend that kind of a goal. But the other goals that Argentina have scored, it's all intricate passing, giving goals and 1-2s, and this is where England are coming unstuck again.
That's a lovely tuck away,
isn't it?
It's
simple, though, John. People are not staying with runners, especially 𝐿𝐴𝐿𝐴nsson. I mean, he's had a nightmare. All he wants to do is play on the ball and not track runners.
Well, this is just the story of a first half that's frustrated Thornton. You can see there, and he knows what it's all about at this game. Stumbling there, but getting the goal in the end. And this is one that I think annoyed you, Steve, because it was the tracking again.
And there's 5 goals at least that players should have stayed with the runners. But I've seen that time and time again in this competition, where they've hit the far post, man coming in to top it.
But let's be more positive, because that was the real highlight for England in half. Richard Follett drove forward. I think it was going to go to 𝐂𝐨𝐿𝐴, and in the end he powered it in.
Good strike. Yeah, a really good strike. I've been impressed with him. He's done well. But again, as a guy, the man of the moment.
You've got to be impressed by Argentina and by him. He actually slipped in the process of shooting, and that took it just wide of Thornton. That was his second.
You see, the thing for me there, I like about him, he could have gone down and stayed down and looked at a free kick. No, I want goals, and that's what he's all about.
And that was where England just started to lose their discipline and lose their shape. It was Rescia driving through the middle there, and you know, the minute they do that, they're punished straight away.
Well, this is what the futsal's all about. We've seen both ways. He's dragged it over with his foot, and then he's toe poked under the keeper. You don't see that in general in 11-a-side games.
You enjoying Argentina?
Yeah, that's different. And I'd love to see England, I mean, at a lower level, play a lot more of this for technique to develop the youngsters. I really would.
Absolutely. OK, then, well, Steve's going to just step down for a moment because, of course, one of the things we're bringing you on this broadcaster and Star Sports is action as it happens and also reaction from the pitch itself. Andy Penders is our man down there. Let's see what he's got for us. Andy?
Thanks, John. Quite interesting here on pitch side is that the teams actually swap benches at half-time as well. And look at the state the England team have left their bench. It's terrible, isn't it? Come with me here. I just want to take a quick look at what the rain is doing. Okay, I'll be very quick. I'm sure they won't allow us on the pitch, but come on. Because it is raining. There are drips here. Yeah, there's about 5 or 6 drips coming down here. It could prove to be a problem. You never know. But good fun down here. The crowd are great.
Weatherman, Mr. Penders, I can't believe this. We're seeing it all now. It's raining inside here at the Negara Stadium. Let's hope, in all seriousness, that hasn't turned out to be a problem. Well, it was bone dry earlier on. Let's bring you action from the 2 matches that have been played earlier on today. We'll start off with Indonesia against Australia, which kicked this one off. This was a close game initially. It really was. And they actually went in front in Indonesia, 𝐵-𝐿ANI opening up the scoring for them. Now, once he did that, you thought to yourself, this is going to be a test for the Aussies. Now, Scott Gilligan, their coach, said that they're notoriously slow starters in tournaments, in particular here. But the best thing they did was they got straight back into the game with a goal. Once they did that, that was Ngalofo scoring. They were always in it.
Yes, I mean, the patience. I mean, you don't have to win the game in the first half. It's all about possession, and work in the openings. And when the game gets stretched out, players become tired, and that's when chances become available.
The Australians were very impressive physically. Of course, at 11-a-side, they're playing against Asian sides now as being part of the Asian demographic. And what they did was they used their physical strength, and as you can see there, the heads of the Indonesians went down. Australia muscled them off the ball, and they have one or two really high-quality players in their side. Giovanelli, for example, really does look the business. Quality player, the number 4. By this stage, they're enjoying themselves, driving the ball into the net there. Giovanelli ended up with 2 goals. Flanagan had 1. Fernando had 1 as well. And at this stage, Indonesia really were out of it. Now, that group, Group B, is going to be Group A rather, is going to be very, very tight indeed, because this is the group that England and Argentina are in. And this is the one where Argentina are expected to go through as winners. Who's going to make it? Well, Malaysia have hopes of doing so. England probably aren't going to have a chance of doing so. Australia, with this result, set themselves up perfectly. They have Malaysia and they have England to play. Okay, so that's what happened in that one. Let's get to the opening encounter in Group B. Now, this featured Brazil, who come here as the favourites, probably. They've sent a strong side. They're preparing for World Cup qualifiers, as are the rest of the South Americans. And they took on a China side, Steve, that really defended brilliantly. China themselves, coached by Farinha, a Brazilian former player, and he really has got them very organised. As we can see, these clips show, they threw themselves in front of the ball, they blocked, the keeper did well, and it took a long, long time for Brazil to score.
Yeah, I don't like to say it, but that's where I think England have got it wrong. They're trying to attack and take Argentina apart. They can't do that. They're not good enough to do that. China realised that they weren't good enough to take on Brazil at their own game, so they defended well, and it was damage limitation, and fair play to them.
Yeah, the Brazilians looked a bit jet-lagged. It just took a while to get going. There's the classic futsal move, and at this stage the Chinese had got tired. They really have impressed the Chinese. They've only got 6 teams that play on a semi-professional basis right now, so it's a long, long way for them to catch up with the likes of Brazil. But there he is, Coach Farinha. He's got a Brazilian assistant. He's had him since January, and they really pushed his native Brazil all the way in this one. That's a tremendous scoreline for Asian futsal. Just comparing, it's difficult at the moment, isn't it, Steve? Most people are looking at Argentina, Brazil, but you must remember that Iran are going to be a factor in this tournament. But I know you'd like to see a final between these 2 great rivals once again, wouldn't you? Long way to go.
Without doubt, it'd be spectacular. And again, we touched on it earlier on, the stadium lends itself to a magnificent atmosphere. And if it's full, it would be unbelievable, it really will.
Well, that's the way things finished up there, and in the end, the Chinese were not disgraced at all there. Willem had a couple of goals, Mendicio scored a couple of goals. We also got a glimpse of probably the most famous futsal player in the world, 𝐕-𝐒𝐻𝐭, who came on and showed his magic. No, not that 𝐕-𝐻𝐭, we have to keep reminding you. But in the world of futsal, the 𝐕-𝐻𝐭 who plays futsal is an absolute legend of the game. He's come with the squad, and he played brilliantly in this game. Okay, Brazil showing some of their skills there, but it's been all about the quality of Argentina, who played a driving game. They've showed great sharpness in front of goal, and England have been on the receiving end. It's 8-1 as we take a little break and then come back with the second half, not far away. Thanks for being with us on Star Sports.
Here's another opportunity, and England are getting
Welcome back. We're at the Stadium Negara in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and having a fantastic time as the KL World Fives is up and running. Day one, Group A action, and Argentina, greats of this game, really are some of the legends of the game, Argentina. And not surprisingly, they lead England by 8-1. A young England side that really doesn't play futsal on a regular basis. Only one full-time futsal player in their ranks, and the difference in quality has certainly shown through. These players, by the way, have a very serious business of preparing for World Cup qualifiers. The FIFA Futsal World Championship will be staged later this year in Brazil. And as far as the Argentine side is concerned, they have to wait till June when they will be playing in Montevideo in the qualifiers for South America. Graham Dell will be taking his England side to Budapest in some 3 weeks' time, so they're not far away. But with only 5 Europeans going through to that tournament, and of course quality sides of the likes of Spain, Italy and Holland, it's going to be difficult. Let's just quickly catch up with Andy Penders, who's with Graham Dell.
Graham, what did you say to your boys at half-time?
I need to make sure we come out second half and do a little bit better than what we did in the first half. I think that a number of the new lads are a little bit stage fright for the game. But it was really a case just trying to keep hold of the ball and don't give it away. And, I mean, they're a very good team, and there's no mistake about that. I think from our point of view, we've just got to make sure that we can keep possession for a lot longer and try and get some shots off. You know, we were one shot and we've got a goal from it, and that's the important thing. And it's a learning curve for us tonight. But I think they're enjoying it for sure. We've just got to try and make sure that we can get ourselves back in the game again in some way, shape or form.
Good luck for the second half, mate.
Thanks a lot.
Many thanks. Andy Penders talking to England's head coach Graham Dell, who has just had a very difficult 15 minutes, I'm sure, Steve, trying to sort things out. In the meantime, the Stadium Negara staff have been busy just trying to mop up one or two patches that an absolutely incredible deluge of rain might just have forced through the roof here at the Stadium Negara. Looks as if we're okay to go with the second half, just waiting on the pitch being entirely correct. And that's what the referee's doing right now, just making sure, because obviously on this surface, which is I think it's a polymer, and that's about as far as my knowledge of plastics goes. It can be slippery, Steve, and obviously they have to make sure that there's no chance of that. There's a change in goal for England, and it's Eric Pudelov who's coming on. Pudelov, Graham Dell tells me, really not much to choose between him and Thornton, and I'm sure Thornton's enjoying the rest.
That could be puddle off, couldn't it? Get the water off the pitch, get the puddle off. But,
very good.
Yeah, of course. I mean, he's a big keeper, isn't he? He's anything about him. He don't need to be that big in this game, do you? But he's got a lot to do. I mean, I thought Dean Thornton done okay, made lots of saves. Yeah, his distribution wasn't brilliant.
Okay, we've got a problem here. We understand that the Argentine delegation is not happy about the area that's getting damp. And as you can see, it's in the D that will be defended by England. And obviously Argentina expect to spend quite a lot of time inside that D in the second half of this game. And we have a bit of a dilemma here because the Philippine referee has clearly got to be satisfied that it is playable before he can allow the second half to get underway. There's not much more they can do. They're just mopping and mopping, but there's a drip clearly coming through the ceiling.
Well, safety is paramount, John. It really is. I mean, you fall over and you slip, it's easy to have a nasty accident. It really is.
Well, we're sending Paul Macefield up to the roof with a plaster, so that should take care of things.
He'll fall through it. Better be careful.
On with the game. You're watching the KL World Fives. Futsal here in Malaysia. As England, who trailed by 8-1 against Argentina, will get us underway. Let's just give you the starting outfield fours, and of course a change with Pudelov coming in goal for England. So they start off with Canham. Follett, the captain, is on there. Colley, who's on the ball right now, and Ashley Adamson. They're the four outfield players for England's futsal side. I'll just see how Argentina shape up before we get to them. It's a nice bit of play there, and it's set for the shot. Difficult to bend the ball, really. It's got to be a straight strike, really, at this game.
Good start, it really is. And again, Pudelov has come out of his goal, and he set the attack up, which is nice to see.
Boruto Taffarel out at the moment for Argentina. Did that stay in? Yes, and this time the right foot of Boruto, and the keeper needed to get an important touch to that. They are concerned about the water on the court. This is a problem for us now, because 𝐂𝐚𝐻 has just decided that he's not happy with it. He tracked back, he slipped, and he's asking for the officials to do something about this damp patch on the pitch.
It's stupid, isn't it? It could become very, very dangerous, this.
Well, they are playing on right now on the edge of the area. England need to maintain their concentration because 𝐕-𝐒𝐻𝐵 works it to the right-hand side. And he's coming back. Adamson, he's in a bit of trouble, and all he can do is just hack the ball into touch.
Yes, but I mean, he swept up well. He stayed in tracked runners, and which is what England will have been told at half-time. Make sure you defend properly.
Godoy, the captain, on the ball right now. 𝐕-𝐒𝐻𝐵's on. And they haven't changed their goalkeeper. It's still 𝐿𝐼𝐻, and I'm sure he fancies a chance of a goal at some stage in this second half. Just over the halfway line, goes back into his half. He's looking for options and not getting them. Instead, he does go forward. What's he going to do? I think he's going to shoot. Wasn't a bad one. He's out of goal. Here's a chance for England. Oh, they've given it away. What an opportunity that was. Godoy, the captain, is going to go on his own, and he just spears his shot wide. What a chance that was.
Oh, I mean, England, I mean, you won't get a better chance than that. Opportunity, keepers out of his goal. 3 against 2, should have been a goal.
Couldn't keep their composure, needed to just string a couple of passes together, and then they were in an undefended goal. I'll have to put that out of their minds. Nice little back heel from Adamson. Cute play. Back to 𝐿𝐼 now. Follett. And that's not the best of passes from Adamson. Here he comes again. 𝐿𝐼𝐻 sees a hole in the middle. He drives straight through. This time he passes. Taffarel, far post, good goal. That is how you open up the gaps.
And Baruto is with the hat-trick. We said he's a goal scorer. He certainly is that. And again, I keep harping on about it. It's the Pomo position. Back post, he comes in, and it's rifled into the corner.
But it was made by the break across the halfway line by the keeper.
He's different gravy, isn't he, this guy? He really is. He's fun to watch. Brilliant.
Listen, you played with Bruce Grobbelaar. You're no stranger to this.
That's right. It's great to see. And this is what the game's all about. You can use your goalkeeper to great effect.
Absolutely. Follett, 𝐿𝐼. So England have conceded their first goal of the second half. There will be more. You can almost be certain of that. And once again, Adamson doing some good defending work, just getting a foot in.
Yes, it's about time, because he never done that in the first half. He didn't track runners in the first half. He's probably been told in no uncertain terms that he must stay with runners.
He's the leading goal scorer. Here's Baruto. Oh, and 𝐿𝐼𝐻. It's a good job he stays so far off his line, because there was just a little misunderstanding there. Had he been back in the D, he'd have been in trouble.
That's a great goalkeeper, and that's what he's there. He becomes a sweeper, in effect. So it's good goalkeeper.
Absolutely. Shane Gill has arrived on the scene for England. A couple of these England players actually came through a talent contest. Not tricks, a playing contest, and they got themselves contracts via that way. It's 3 against 2, and it's Gill who gets back at just in the nick of time. Sykes now, who's on the left-hand side, drills a shot in, and the keeper just stayed strong and large.
Yeah, I mean, there's bright spots for England, I think. If he can hit Argentina on the break, they might get another goal, maybe 2 goals, and keep it respectable.
So bright spots for England. The forecast from Stadium Negara, just scattered showers inside the stadium. But that aside, it's a wonderful atmosphere. It really is. Very entertaining, this game. Sykes goes nowhere, and that's a lovely effort. It's just gone wide, and that was almost deserving of a goal. Great vision, wasn't it? The keeper was a long way off his line there.
Yeah, of course. It was brilliant vision. It's just a shame it never hit the back of the net.
Gill shields, but then he's dumped onto the ground, and that's really clever. They've just double-teamed there on 𝐂𝐚, and he was unable to get the ball away.
Yeah, I mean, you can talk about Argentina, like about their attacking prowess, but they do defend well as well. They know what it's all about. They're disciplined, and you have to have both in this game.
It was 𝐵elcito who got a long way forward there, but wasn't able to make anything happen. Nice job of shielding done there. It's not bad play by Sykes. He's got a bit about him, Steve.
Yes, he has. And I do like the way when the keeper gets puddle off, that England put 2 men straight up front, and it gives him an option, the goalkeeper.
Madison's kicking. Oh, that wasn't bad. And they went for the far post.
That was better.
You're seeing here.
Yes, it really was. And glad to see that they're learning.
Dotolo's come on. Looks very, very classy. Very elegant midfielder. And 𝐿𝐼𝐻, he just wants to be on the ball. Every time England split through the middle, he sensed an opportunity.
Well, what he's doing, John, he's forcing one of the England players to go out to create the extra man, which leaves a gap.
Absolutely, and he is not averse to exploiting if they give him an opportunity to run forward into space. closed down very well there. And England, one of the things about this game is the 𝐂𝐳𝐽. I mentioned in the first half some of the greats of the game who've played this one. 𝐂𝐳𝐽 spoke about the fact that you need to train young players to play with the ball and only the ball. He said the young players shouldn't be bothered with tactics, defending or positional elements. The focus should be on learning basic techniques. It should be ball, ball, and more ball.
It's brilliant, that comment. It really is ball, ball, and more ball. That's magnificent, coming from one of the greats, and I agree with them. We should be playing this on a regular basis in England. These academies should they should actually come out here, some of the Premier League scouts, and look at this situation here.
Micah Richards of Manchester City in England and Michael Owen are both players who at some stage as they were developing played this kind of sport, and they've publicly said that it's important. That's a good block there. And you can see it, can't you? Because if nothing else, it's the ability to have quick feet, a quick mind, and get out of trouble. Now, whether that turns into an 11-side player remains to be seen, but it's a start, isn't it?
It's a great start, and it's small-sided. I mean, you can play at any age as well, which is good. I don't like the big games that youngsters play, under 12s and under 10s. It's far too big. The ball's too big, and you don't get excitement. This is what it's all about.
And they're just taking a little break there while Eric Pudeloff does a bit of Pudeloff work himself. Dottolo tries to thread it through the middle, just off the radar, and he gets berated by his coach, Senor Larrañaga. Not at all happy about that. Wasted possession. And here's a lesson for 11-a-side players, isn't it? I mean, Steve, you know, the quality, the importance of possession. You need the ball.
In any game, it's 9/10 of the law, possession. You got possession, then you can't concede goals, and you're not under pressure at all.
9-1 to Argentina. We've just come to something of a lull in this second half. Still 15 minutes plus to go in the match. It's a Group A opener for both of these sides, and England knew it was going to be a very, very tough one. England have only won one match. They beat the Greeks 8-7 towards the end of last year. But Graham Dell reckons the best performances his side has produced came in France. They lost 2 matches there, 2-1 and 4-2, but he reckons they should have won both of them. And he thinks that they are moving in the right direction.
I agree. I really do, John. I think they've done very, very well. I just think they've been very, very naive in the defending.
Quality from Follett once again. He really leads by example. I bet they're glad that he did come into the squad at the last minute as the thunder rumbles away outside. It's been a dramatic backdrop to this, fortunately, indoor game. Boruto, hat-trick hero so far for Argentina.
That's good pressure by England. It really is. The pressure and the man on the ball. Now they've got to be careful with 𝐿𝐴𝐴𝐵.
And it's a one-on-one. They want to try and avoid that where possible. No one coming in on the far post in this instance, and that's unlike Argentina. The player who got forward was Cavilla. Canham forward for England. It's been a bright second half for them so far. Follett, the captain. Colley. Is there an end product? Well, that was good determination in the end there. And Shane Gill may not have the quality, but he's a willing worker, isn't he?
He's a willing worker. He's very tenacious as well. You can see that in his makeup. But it's only England are only getting beat 1-0 second half. I mean, that's very, very positive. I think it was about 3 or 4-0 at this stage first half.
Colley's got a trick or two, and he looks to work it there. Follett now, he's more about determination, aggression, and the ability to work with the ball, to drive forward. Colley's the sort of archetypal futsal player, if you like. He's slightly built. He's got very good close control.
Yeah, excellent. Low centre of gravity as well, isn't it? And that's what you need in this type of game. It really is. But it's bright, this. I like the way England have started the second half.
So Argentina, who have just not really come out firing in this second half at all. Far more patient, but remember the goals can come in an absolute flood, if you forgive the phrase here at the Nagara. Later on, when the game opens up, keeper's out of position there and very nearly commits a foul. You can't slide tackle in this game, Steve. We haven't seen anyone penalised yet. As
it's all going off outside.
Tremendous peal of thunder goes off. One of the England players, the captain, has lost his shoe. Follett's shoeless at the moment, and that ball runs out of play. Let's get an update now from Andy Pender's pitch side.
Thanks a lot, John. Just looking at the feelings and emotions of the coaches there, the Argentine coach, Fernando, is very animated, not happy, shaking his head, whereas Graham Dell is applauding everything. He's delighted with his players' performance in the second half.
Thanks very much. Insight there from our man down by the technical areas. That's Andy Penders. And Fernando Larrañaga's got every right to be upset. England have had plenty of the ball. They haven't had too much of defending to do. And as compared with Thornton in the first half, Pudelov's had very few saves to make.
This is good, John. I like it. I really do. Possession, keep the ball, run the legs out of Argentina. Now they're making wholesale changes.
And are you surprised? It's all 4 outfield players changed now by Argentina. They're taking advantage of a break, and Pudelov's doing something similar. Graham Dell is studying concentration and thought, how can he keep this up? Because as I said a moment ago, Steve, they only need to drop their guard for a couple of minutes, and it could be 2-3 goals.
Exactly. I mean, we've seen what happens with Argentina. Bang, bang, and all of a sudden your head's dropping. And they've got to contain them. Again, stay with runners. That I keep stressing that, and he must do that.
So once again, Argentina go to plan E, if you like. That's E for 𝐿𝐴, the goalkeeper, who makes the extra man and really asks questions of England. Look at the work rate, though. Oh, and that's a late challenge. Dottolo exaggerated slightly as he tried to ride it.
Tremendous work by Madison, I think it is. Yes, it is. He's closing down for fun, and he's starting it off. And when he closes, the men behind him are closing very, very well. I'm really impressed with England's second half.
Canham. Madison did well there. He had a lot of pressure, managed to shield the ball. Pudelov, whose distribution hasn't been great so far, and almost a clash of heads there. Graham Dell and his staff thought that should have been a free kick.
Possibly.
An English player's not going to worry too much about that, Steve, is he?
No, not at all. You need a little bit of physical presence in this game as well. It's got everything. Skill, you've got to stay with runners, you've got to defend properly, you've got to be fairly physical, you've got to be sharp. It's got everything about it.
You look at the players who've got the upper body strength. I mean, Maradona, of course. Imagine Gaza at this. He'd have been hard to get off the ball. He'd have the feet for it, wouldn't he, as well?
Fantastic. Yeah, he'd love this game. Jan Molby comes to mind with me when a guy who played at Liverpool. Magnificent in this small-sided games. He'd be excellent. He really would.
Of course, Molby, part of that very, very successful Liverpool veterans team. They play in all sorts of tournaments. A different kind of the game. They play the sort of... It's a shot from 𝐿𝐴, and that's going to sting a little bit there. Don't rub it, Mr. Sykes. But, of course, the Liverpool vets play the bounce-off-the-walls game. It's different, isn't it?
Very different. And I think it's progressing. They have many competitions, but not like this. This is big time compared to what they have in England. But we're getting there, and I think we should be doing it, and I keep stressing it, and I keep pointing out that we should be doing it at a younger age, not when we're veterans, not when we're too old to do this kind of thing.
Oh, that's a lovely move, and that's a brilliant finish. Real sting in the strike there, and it was 𝐂𝐵𝐿𝐴. It's a hat-trick for Massimiliano 𝐂𝐵𝐵𝐿, and that's a quality strike.
Brilliant goal, absolutely brilliant. And again, this lad has toe poked 2 of his goals, and so it's not all about striking tremendous strikes at the ball. Toe poke will do.
That really was a quality finish. So it's 11 minutes to go, and it's double figures now. 10-1. Argentina lead England. Just looking up into the upper reaches of the Stadium Negara. Malaysia, their team has arrived, and they're involved in a warm-up. Oh, that has to be a goal. Somehow it's kept out by Pudelov. What happened there, Steve?
It was a wonderful save. It really was. It was a double save. I think it was our man again. Is it Delotto? I think so. I think he's won through. He should have scored. He's already got a hat-trick, and he's playing ever so well. I'd just like to see Barutto back on, because I like the look of him. I really do.
𝐿𝐴 on the ball, and the Malaysians will be warming up for their clash with Indonesia, which we'll have live for you here on Star Sports. Indonesia beaten already today by Australia. It's a must-win for them. And Malaysia, who have hopes of making it to the semi-finals of this tournament, well, that is to come. Right now, it's about Argentina and England, the other teams in this group, Group A. The Australians have played already, and they've actually got a great position. They've scored a victory over Indonesia today. They've got a rest day tomorrow. They play Malaysia, and they play England last.
See, that was good play there, John. It really was, because you can't go back to the goalkeeper. So England pressed the forward line. So we know quite well that he can't go back to the keeper, and there was nowhere else for him to play. Good play, I like that.
So that was a very successful little foray there by the England outfield players, and it's over the halfway line. Pudalov!
Brilliant.
He gets a shot
yes,
on target.
I like it. Look.
Is he going to pay for it, though? Is he going to pay? He didn't know where he was for a moment.
Good stuff. I like it. Anything you can do, I can do better, the keeper saying.
Good stuff. Keeper to keeper. Cut out the outfield players entirely. So Colley is still on for England. Gill is working hard. Follett's getting forward. 𝐂𝐻𝐻𝐿 is the option on the right-hand side. There he is. I've been impressed by him. He's a quiet worker, 𝐂𝐻𝐻𝐿. Just gets on the ball and does nothing silly.
That's right. He's not firing on all cylinders today, 𝐂𝐻𝐻𝐿, but he's still a good player.
Let's just overlook that one, Macca, shall we?
Yes, of course. But again, I keep saying England should be pleased with the second half performance. They've been absolutely tremendous. They really have. Keep your heads up, boys. Keep passing it. Don't get too disheartened. You're 2-0 down in the second half. That's the way they've got to look at it and build confidence.
Shane Gill. Oops, careful touch tackle there, but he's just about got away with it, has he? He's trying to give a foul away. Hasn't managed to do so.
Very tenacious, though, John. We said that about him, and that's what it was all about.
Got a feeling that Elias's quest for a goal is going to come to an end because he's being changed. Yeah, here is the substitution. So the replacement is Juan Martin Gramulia, number 12. He arrives on the scene, and Elias, it's a shame he's got out of the game. I enjoyed him.
I hope he's not boring this keeper. I really do. I think I enjoyed watching Elias. I really did.
And we have to stress this has been a very, very impressive half for England. Just the 2 goals conceded. There are just under 9 minutes to go in the match.
That's the problem.
That is the big problem.
Yeah, they're doing very, very well, but it's just under 9 minutes now, John.
I wonder if this is a game that you play to get fit, Steve, because clearly they're only getting together for 4 hours every Sunday in the month. They maybe play a game, they train. They're going to have to work on their own fitness. They're away with their 11-a-side clubs, aren't they? But there must be futsal-specific training that they need to do.
Probably, yeah. They must do a lot of indoor stuff, you know, gymnasium, 5-a-sides with the friends, because that's all you can do. You can keep your personal levels of fitness up. And there's a break here.
He's an unlikely player, isn't he? Very gangly player there, Pablo Belcito. But he's effective.
Yeah, you wouldn't think he'd be suited to this type of game, but he's okay. He's come on in fits and starts. So that's you're using that substitution well, aren't they? Or substitutions rather, Argentina, and that's part of the game as well, the tactics.
Great strength from Baruto there. He had a very physical challenge, came in from behind, managed to hold it off.
He's quality. He's got a lot of attributes, hasn't he? Not just a goal scorer. And he's quick. He's got good feet, and he's really strong. He's on the ball again. A great back heel as well. He's got tricks to go with it.
Not given, and that's a good save there. Down the right-hand side comes a break there, and Madison, he's tried to hit the ball far post. Follett was trying to arrive, but unable to make it happen.
Yeah, and again, Argentina do what they've been doing all game, all 4 substitutes at once.
Total transfusion from Argentina, and they've run the changes throughout this half. They'll be disappointed, will Fernando Larrañaga, with what he's been seeing here. They're just not quite as incisive as they were in the first half. As we said already, a long way to go. A few minutes, long, long time in futsal, and it's 7:30 on the clock right now. Yep, there you go, Senor Larrañaga. A quick look at the stopwatch, and he likes to keep an eye in terms of how long the ball's in play. This has got to be, hasn't it? Well done. Well done, Eric Pudalov. Brilliant challenge there. And he has a little half-hearted shot, really. The keeper was on his line. It wasn't as if he was going to chip him. Lack of control there from Madison. Plays the ball to Argentina, and here they come once again. Luis Gonzalez down the right. There's a man unmarked and another splendid save, but the danger's not cleared, and it's in. He will be furious, will Pudalov, because he pulled off a great save and he didn't get the support from his teammates.
That's right. 𝐂𝐻𝐻𝐿 didn't react as well, and Pudalov's very, very disappointed in the reaction of his teammates. Hopefully we'll see it again. He makes a magnificent save initially there. He parries it away, and you can see, I mean, he's given far too much time to stroke it into the net. Look at that. It's a great finish, man.
Great technique from Gonzalez there. Just lifted it. Timeout called, and At this stage, very important for England to not get too disheartened. I wonder what's going on over in the Argentine camp, though. What's not quite clicking in the way it did in the first half for them, Steve?
Well, you don't know whether to say, is it Argentina not clicking or is it England playing particularly well? I'd like to give a little bit of credit to them.
Yeah.
I think they've actually played well second half. They've kept the ball better and they've looked at a much better, well-organised side.
Eric.
There we go, a good listen in there. Coach is explaining to Eric that he needed to, that's Pudiloff of course, that he needed to communicate better and maybe that goal could have been avoided. It was the goal that made it 11-1 to Argentina. England back on court first, they're ready to go. They've just got to wait for the pitch to be mopped down. Let's see if Andy Pender's pitch side has picked up anything from there. He was listening in to the England coach, Graham Dell, once again. Andy?
Yeah, Graham said that the team has to work hard, both when they've got the ball and when Argentina have the ball. It's all about a work ethic now. Let's not get the game away from us and enjoy yourself for the remaining 6 or 7 minutes.
Thank you very much. The hardest working pitch side man in the business. Nothing wrong with the Pender's ethic. I said ethic, not ethics. Right, let's carry on, shall we? England will have to keep the work up, Steve. Remember, whatever else they do in this tournament before the latter stages, it's got to be easier than this, isn't it, for them?
Yes, again, keep your heads up. That's what I'd be saying to the players. I mean, in that timeout, very, very good performance. And don't spoil it. Don't let's concede 3 and 4, 5 goals in the next, 6 minutes or so remaining.
This is going to be harder for Argentina this tournament than it was 5 years ago at the KL World Fives. I'll break off here because there's an opportunity if 𝐷𝐞𝐻𝐻 can get through. Good tackle from Holbrook. They won it here, beating Brazil last time, Steve, in the final. It has to be said, a weakened Brazil side. Argentina are actually ranked 7th in the world, and that places them 1 behind Iran, who are also here in Kuala Lumpur. So it's by no means a foregone conclusion. Oh, and that's not allowable. The ball has inadvertently been played back to Pudiloff there. You can't do that, and it was just a miss hit from Holbrook.
But I don't know, is that allowed? I don't know, because he doesn't mean to pass it back. In fact, if he did, it's amazing back pass. I don't know whether a referee can play on that. I don't know.
Well, the rules are that once the keeper has been in possession and he gets rid of the ball, which it started, it has to go across the halfway line or be touched by an opponent.
But it's like deliberate back pass. I don't know if
he's given it as a back pass.
Yeah.
One thing I can tell you, no one disputes the decision in this game because they're very quick to discipline if that is the case. Very difficult to score here. Look at the number of bodies between the ball and the goal.
Almost impossible. Usually what they do is put the keeper in front. I'm surprised he's behind.
That's a nice work. A dummy run. Pudiloff got in front of his men in the end, and here's a good break. An opportunity. They switch it left. Holbrook's free left, but it's taken a bit too long. 𝐿𝐻𝐻 goes on his own. Good shot, and it's just clawed away there by Gramulya. Good break by England from a position of some vulnerability. They managed to take it down the end of the pitch and create a shot on target.
Yeah, good stuff. I like it. 𝐿𝐻𝐻, he's near slipped on the surface.
Very nearly went over there. Fortunately, sweeping up there, the goalkeeper. But that was a bit sloppy from Pudiloff, and here come Argentina. Just not quite clicking for them as well. They've not quite been themselves. That was Cavilla letting the ball run out of play. Just under 6 minutes to go. Hope you're enjoying this live action coming to you on Star Sports from Kuala Lumpur, the Stadium Negara, and the KL World Fives of Futsal. A little bit difficult for Canham to control that one. Drilled in it in the pass by Sykes. Taffarel. He's arrived on the scene. The gangly figure of Belcito is there. Godoy, the captain, is also part of the 4. And there's Basile rounding out the 4 outfield players for Argentina. Nice challenge. No foul. Canham's done a good job there. Can England make something of it? Well, Argentina have regrouped already. Here goes Sykes. Gets a shot on target.
Good effort again. I mean, they've took it to Argentina second half. They really have. Fair play to them. Now just keep possession. Hopefully get another goal, England. You deserve it this half. You really do.
The 1 goal so far for England has come from captain Richard Follett. Here's a danger, though. Just looking a bit slow off the mark there, Godoy. Labouring a bit.
Yes, he was. But again, I like the keeper as well. I mean, Pudiloff, he's done very, very well this half. He really has.
A couple of gaps opening up for England. I think Sykes knows that he had a bit more time there. Turned, shot, and Argentina's defensive discipline deserted them
uncharacteristically.
Yeah, they look as though they're tiring the Argentinians. They really do. England are looking strong, and all credit to them, as I keep saying.
11-1 the scoreline. If you're new to futsal or it's new to you, we have to stress that this is a match between a team ranked 7th in the world and a team ranked 119th. Here's an opportunity. Oh, and again, 𝐵𝐿 this time can't quite pick the pass.
Yeah, that's right, John. I mean, give the ball away. You shouldn't give the ball away in that situation. But, yeah, just go back to your point there. We're saying, yeah, England are doing very, very well. They're 11-1 behind, and for us to say that, it sounds stupid, really.
I think that might have been just another quick break to mop up the court a bit there. It's that one problem area in the England D. But play resumes and the clock starts to tick over once again. They've been pushed a lot deeper, Argentina, in this half as well, Paul. That's been, sorry, Steve, rather. That's been noticeable.
It is, Andy. I mean, John. Yeah, I mean, because the pressure is very good by England, and I've got to stress that. They must have had a game plan second half to say, put pressure. When Argentina get it in their half, put pressure on them, close them down, make sure you work them, and I think they've done that very, very well. It's hard work to keep it going because it's humid. We know what it's all about. It's hot in there, and you need fitness levels. Oh, that was poor.
He got himself into trouble there, Budalov. He really did, and just about got away with it. Talking of Paul, he is actually here. Paul's going to be working on Malaysia, Indonesia, I believe, with 𝐕-𝐒𝐻𝐵𝐿 Singh alongside him for that one, naturally enough. 𝐕-𝐻𝐵𝐿, who is somewhat large in these parts in terms of the celebrity status. And, of course, he's as passionate about Malaysian futsal as he is about the 11-a-side game.
He gets a police escort and everything when he comes here. We have to go through the back door and everywhere.
Oh, what a save. What a great save.
Yeah, it's a magnificent
really good
save.
turn and strike there by Sykes.
Yeah, and again, a very, very good play by England, and they've had a number of opportunities this second half.
He's got a bit of quality about him, as Sykes. Very impressed by his performances.
Is this man?
Oh, and that's drilled in. That's coming off the underside of the crossbar. And that's your man, isn't it? Once again, 𝐵𝐿 knows the way to go. Drills it in.
He's going to be top goal scorer for me on this evidence. And he only looks a young lad, doesn't he? Great finish, absolutely.
Budalov tried to stay as tall and as big as he could for as long as possible, but the minute he committed, that was wrapped in under the crossbar. And another note goes into the book from Graham Dell. Very scientific approach to this sport. 12-1 the scoreline now. He gets good support from the football authorities in England, Graham. You know, he's got 𝐿𝐿𝐻𝐵𝐿, he's got access to 𝐿𝐿𝐻𝐵𝐿 rather for training. Working with the England team is a young lady who's actually the head of football science in terms of the physical preparation of players for the women's national setup. She was in China recently with them. So he's got a team around him and he's got access to resources. But one would imagine, Steve, he needs the country as a whole to embrace the game.
Yes.
Now, Brazilian football schools, which are endorsed by the legend who is 𝐂𝐨𝐻𝐵𝐿, are actually operating in England, but it's very much a commercial enterprise where they go into communities and, you know, kids sign up and play if they want to. There we are.
Yeah.
And that's the support group that Graham Dell's got going. But if he gets players playing, I'd imagine that's going to be the key to it, isn't it?
Isn't it just? I mean, yeah, you're right. It's got to be embraced by the FA in England and plough money into it. That's the only way it's going to get better. And I touched on it. We could do worse than get the kids involved in this. And Capello should actually take it on board. Even a meet-up with the manager here, Graham Dell, and see how it can improve English football in general.
Colley's done very well there. They got themselves in and out of trouble there, England, and they've really got something to hold on to here. I don't want to labour the point, but when Graham said before the match that he'd told them that 15 would be, in his eyes, an acceptable score, that's clearly something that's been instilled in them, Steve, because there's no other reason why they would be as tenacious now with 2 minutes to go. They're fighting to keep this as respectable as they can.
And you know what? If they were defensively astute, they'd probably keep the score down. It'd probably be about 6, maybe 7. But they've just given away the ball.
They made a poor start, didn't they?
First half, 2 goals in the first, 2 or 3 minutes or so.
Absolutely.
And that just deflated the England setup.
Argentina know they've been in a game here. They're working hard. All the outfield players have been stretched to the limits, and that was an opportunity. Didn't quite realise, I think, that he was in there. 𝐵𝐿𝐻𝐵𝐿, unable to add to his goal tally. Hat-trick scorer. He and 𝐵𝐿 both have hat-tricks for Argentina today.
Yes, Baruto with 4. And can he make it 5 or 6 before the game is ended?
Again, decent touch there from Sykes. Not a lot of support, so he goes back to Holbrook. What a good showing this is. Only the 4 goals conceded in the half, Steve. That's half as many as they did in the first half. Pudilov just testing his goal skills there with the outfield skills, and he does look a proper goalkeeper. There he is, doesn't he? That's what he does properly.
Yes, and his distribution was great. I mean, you've just seen it there. Brilliant. And England have come to terms very, very quickly with this game.
Might be injured there, Pudilov. He's just looks as if he's got a problem with his lower back, maybe. Keep an eye on that situation. Into the last minute now. That has to be a foul. Players diving in there, but the officials have been very lenient here. Pudilov struggling for movement. He really is. He needs to get off.
Oh, he slipped, John. He slipped on and that pass that we were talking about. And he's complained about it.
Well, it can't be helping. He's just gingerly holding his lower back there.
He's getting the puddle off the pitch. Puddle off.
Yeah, you've used that one.
Yes, Steve. I know, but I just thought I'd use it again.
If it's good, yeah. Well, he's getting a bit of assistance from the mop.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Mop off. Look, we better stop right now, haven't we?
Leave
that's
it
awful.
Yeah.
Let's leave it. Okay, so let's get back to the serious business of reminding you why we are here. That was the challenge.
That's a
two-footed.
Two-footed, get him off. All animals, play on, the referee's just said.
Well, the referee has been extremely lenient here, and that's not such a bad thing. You don't see an awful lot of nasty challenges in futsal. Players tend to keep it out. Defensive discipline. I've seen Brazil play an entire match without committing 1 foul.
Yeah, and which is fantastic, because you stay on your feet. And that means you track runners, stay on your feet. You don't have to give fouls away if you do that.
Taffarel, and what a great job Follett's done there. He stayed with him, he got the crucial block in, and that lifts the team. He thinks he should have had the kick in for England as well.
England's best player by a mile. No wonder he's captain. He's organised, he's led by example. Very impressed.
There's Gramulia, who hasn't been as much fun as 𝐿𝐴𝐻. I think we can safely say he does play the pivot role at the back, the give and go, but he doesn't get forward.
He's boring, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's very boring. We don't like him.
Have a word with the coach. Get him off.
𝐿𝐴𝐻, come on, get him back on.
Right, Taffarel, who should really be in goal with a name like that, but he's an outfield player. And really, they're content to just run the clock down. And there it goes. 3, 2, 1. And what a good effort that is defensively by England. But let's not forget, they have been beaten by 12 goals to 1. Study the body language. And there we are. They're close friends, these two, by the way. Graham Dell very often communicates with 𝐿𝐴𝐻 about the game and how they can improve. And look at the faces. It's not exactly exuberance and unbridled joy from Argentina, is it, Steve?
No, but he won the game, and that's what they'll be concerned about. They can only get better.
So there we are then. We come to the end of the opening match in Group A of the KL World Fives for Argentina and England. A comfortable result, one that was entirely predictable. We'll be back in a moment with highlights from matches played earlier today, reaction to what we've seen. But for the time being, as we go to the break, let's just remind you one more time. It's finished Argentina 12, England 1.
Presenter B, presenter B. Mic test 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you hear me? Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Can you hear me? Okay, clear?
Okay, I'm on.
Presenter A, mic test 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay.
Is it working? Yes. Well, that's okay. I've got something in my hand now. You need something in your hand, don't you? Before I was lost with my fingers and my hands. I didn't know where to put them. I was like this. In your pocket.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I've got you. So, just... Welcome back, Steve. We are now going to react to what we've seen, which is a good defensive display, it has to be said, by England. But the fact is that Argentina went out, difficult for them, opening game of the tournament against a defensive-minded side. So how would you assess their performance?
Very good, especially second half. I thought they were very naive tactically in the first half. They tried to get at Argentina. They left spaces at the back, and they got punished. They weren't disciplined enough to stay with runners. They conceded far too many goals early on.
OK, well, let's take a little look at the highlights of the game. And as Steve rightly said early on in the piece, England did what they just didn't want to do. Ashley Adamson was dispossessed, and as a result of that, one man free, goal scored early on. And that just hurt England, but the character obviously showed when they came back. Buruto, the player, getting through.
He was special, this guy. I liked him from the start, and I said he looked hungry for goals. And he toe pokes it in, and that was a feature of the game today. He was about 3 or 4 goals struck with the toe, really.
And then the second one went in. At this stage, it looked as if it could be a 20-goal demolition job, didn't it? Because England weren't tracking players, and it looked as if they could cause trouble here. I think we have to have an eye towards Sunday's final and whether or not Argentina have got what it takes. It would be very hard, I'd imagine, to see anyone getting past them. But Brazil and Iran have got the quality to do so, haven't they? Do you think Argentina were tested enough today? Do you think they're going to build as the tournament goes on?
Yes, they will. I think they were tested, especially second half. I mean, I was very impressed with England with the possession. I didn't think they could actually do that for long periods of time, but they certainly did that. The only thing I was disappointed is, and usually England defend better than that. That's probably one of the strengths for England, is defending, and they were disappointed today.
So it was 8 goals conceded in the first half, and then just a 4 in the second half. That's a good effort by them. So what was the big difference? And I just wondered about Argentina. They look as if they have 2 or 3 really high-quality players, but maybe 1 or 2 of the other players that came on didn't have that eye for goal.
Possibly. They certainly have a predator in Buruto. We know that. And I think that the point I'd like to make in this game, since I've been watching it, is the amount of goals scored at the far post. Yeah. It's incredible. Yeah. And they're just following everything in. And it really is a joy to watch.
That was Buruto in action once again. Before that, we saw Follett scoring the only goal for England. Obviously, they would like to have come away with more goals from that. But one is more than many people gave them credit for before the match got underway. Here we are once again, and you see, you're still looking here at first half action, and as a result of that, you know, Thornton had by far the busier of the assignments of the two.
But
kickers.
This is where it's different, and this is where it sums it up for me. He rolls it over with the sole of his foot, and then he toe pokes it in the back of the net, and there again, you've seen the far stick again, the back post movement, goal.
So there we are then. If we take a little look at the way the goals went in, Rescia picked up a hat-trick, Buruto, as we said, and that was 𝐿-𝐴𝐵 driving forward. It was a feature of the game that Steve especially enjoyed. He always likes a goalkeeper who goes forward and tries to score, but 𝐿-𝐴𝐵 is a player who gives them another option. I mean, you know, it's serious, this business, and he clearly brings a dimension to the team that was lacking in the second half when Gramulia, the other keeper, came on.
It's serious, John, but it's also got to be good fun. And 𝐿𝐼𝐧𝐼𝐵 for me made it lots of fun for me watching him play, and for the spectators. That's what it's all about. You win games, you play well, and you entertain.
So serious fun. Do we agree on that?
Yes, oh, very much so. Very much so.
Okay, so there we are. That rounds out the scoring. And what we can do now is we've given you our thoughts about what happened in the match, and we've shown you the highlights of it there. But, of course, we'd like to hear from those that were involved in coaching. A little bit later on, we'll have the England coach, Graham Dell. But I'm delighted to say that with the assistance of an interpreter, Andy Pender's managed to catch up with Jose Fernando Larrañaga, who, of course, coaches Argentina.
And with Argentine coach Jose Fernando and the lovely translator Selena. Selena, can you ask the coach about his thoughts after that game?
¿Qué crees sobre el partido?
Fue un partido con un equipo que supo presionar y sacarle la pelota a los ingleses.
Una vez más.
Pudo presión y sacarle la bola a los ingleses.
Okay, basically they did pretty well stopping the balls. I think the goalie did a pretty good job.
And can you ask him how he feels about the competition and whether his team has a good chance to win?
¿Qué crees sobre el torneo y ganar a Argentina?
El torneo lo extrañamos durante 5 años y creo que hay 3 equipos que pueden ganar el torneo.
Basically, it's been 5 years since the last tournament, and he thinks there are 3 teams who can win this time.
Okay, well, best of luck to you in the competition. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's muchos gracias, Andy. That's, I think, what you're looking for there. Andy Pender's there, catching up with the Argentine coach. Now, he didn't look happy during the second half, Steve. Graham Dell looked as if he was much happier with the second half. We can get the thoughts now of the England coach, so let's get back down to pitch side and back to Andy.
Second half then, Graham.
Much better than the first, of course. I think that we'd be pleased with that with the second half. We'd set ourselves a target before we'd even got here that certainly the first game was going to be the biggest challenge. And we didn't want to concede more than 15 goals. Well, I think that's realistic, 115 places or so between Argentina and England in world ranking scenario. So we set that as a mental target. I think going in at half-time, we're a little bit disappointed with the scoreline at half-time, and I said to them that, they need to give them a little bit less respect than what they were giving. And second half, we came out, and I think we gave them a good go. Still struggled to try and get the ball forward to score goals, and that's a difficulty for us, and I think that will always be the case against much stronger teams. But from our perspective, it's still a learning curve, and there's a lot to learn from Argentina. They'll train every day, they'll be full-time. Our lads will come and play once a month as a game of futsal at the moment in time, and I think we've just got to be happy with that result. And today was just about enjoying the game, and now looking forward to 4 games when we can actually go and really try and do something and see if we can get a little bit closer to the opposition that we've got.
What will you take from this game?
I think there's plenty that we can take from it. I think the fact that, we've large bouts of possession, stupid futsal goals, typical futsal goals, but that's what you get with 11-a-side players, unfortunately. And I think that from our perspective, learning to keep hold of the ball for a little bit longer than what we would normally do was pretty good. But when you look at it, 40 minutes and 12 goals, I think that says something against a team like Argentina. And I'm happy with that, and it seems strange that you would say with 12 goals that you're happy with that result. But having set the target and said that we didn't want to concede more, I think they applied themselves pretty well in the second half.
Best luck in the tournament, Graham.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
It's a really good thing that Graham Dell is so approachable, because clearly England are one of the smaller teams, but he speaks a lot of sense about the game, and good that he's able to give us that kind of insight. Let's take a look back at what happened elsewhere earlier on today. And in Group A, the first match that was played saw Australia take on Indonesia. This was a really tight one, Steve, in the first half, and the Indonesians, who are quite new to futsal, but they've developed very, very quickly. Now, they actually took the lead in this one through Jailani, and at this stage the Australians were a little bit slow in starting. After the game, I spoke to 𝐂𝐸𝐿𝐵𝐿, the Australian coach, and he said we're notoriously bad at starting in tournaments. What they did right, though, was through number 9, Nalate. They got themselves straight back in. They scored almost immediately, and you could just see that they lifted in the game. Look at the use there of the number 11. He works as a pivot, and once they got the system working, they really were just out-muscling Indonesia. You can understand that, can't you?
Yes, they were stronger, more experienced, and you looked at, as the game progressed, Australia took over and took control.
Now, what's at stake here, really, is you feel that in this group, where Argentina will absolutely cruise through, it's going to probably come down to a showdown between Australia and maybe Malaysia for that second place to go through into the semi-finals. Remember, the other group, Group B, is really much, much stronger. And you've got Brazil, you've got the Netherlands, and you've also got Iran, who are 3 world powers when it comes to this. So there's an opportunity. And that's why 𝐂𝐳𝐫𝐭 was absolutely delighted with this result. They've got the job done. They've got a day off tomorrow.
Yes, I'll be interested to see how the Malaysians play. I mean, looking at them in anticipation, they should be a good team. Technically, they'll be very, very good. Be interested in that game when they play Australia.
Obviously, and in just a few minutes' time, here on Star Sports Live, we will have Malaysia in action for the first time, and Indonesia will be in action for the second time. So Paul Masefield will be with you for that one very, very shortly. Talking of Paul Masefield, his first assignment in terms of commentary today was to catch up with the action between China and the 3-time world champions Brazil, who come here probably as favourites to win this tournament. China, very, very new to the game. How would they go in this one under their own Brazilian coach, Farinha? Well, let's get to the highlights of the match. Commentary on this, as I said, coming from Paul and PJ Roberts.
𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐿 shows her silky skills, and the deflection goes over. And that's the first corner of the game.
Well, then we see Brazil really showing
Shot comes in, and it's rattled the crossbar. 𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐿 showing that there's power there in that left foot, and what a strike that was.
You found yourself a couple of yards out of position defensively, and
hit the
Brazil
post.
Will get a strike on goal, just as illustrated there.
Well, taken quickly, that kick in. The ball was placed on the floor and taken extremely quickly, and 𝐕-𝐒𝐻𝐿 just pulled the trigger. 𝐕-𝐻𝐿 elects to go forwards, pushes it wide, Zhang down quickly, and well, China taking no chances and get out of jail there. Ball just goes behind. Taken quickly again, 𝐕-𝐻𝐿 just over. What a strike that was.
Hit it like an absolute rocket. Just got caught on the wrong side of his opponent. Got caught in front, really needed to stay either sideways or in behind.
𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐿 pulls the trigger, and it's a post again. But the rebound will go in from Villan. The 21-year-old makes absolutely no mistake whatsoever from that tighter angle. And that's his 15th goal in a golden shirt of Brazil. And it's come at a very, very important time for them.
𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐿 initially it was with a tremendous strike, as we see here, rocketing it off the pass, and then Willem getting in the rebound, and just such good play from Brazil. You always see one player stepping into that far post area.
It's non-stop rotation for both sides. 𝐕-𝐻𝐿 creates half a yard, fires it down the line, it's pulled back in, ping, 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 and deflected wide for yet another corner. So it's going to be Brazil who play it in. Pulled back, shot comes in, and that's the power and the pace of the youngster. That's his second of the game, and 𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐿 makes absolutely no mistake from about 10 metres. And PJ, great strike.
Great strike. We saw Willem starting in a wide area, pulling into the middle of the park.
To remind you that the green dots at the bottom of the screen have gone back to 5 each, which is the foul count. You're allowed 5 fouls each half, and it is China who have picked up that foul, as that is quality there from 𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐿, who just lifted it over the keeper. 𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐿. Little reverse pass there to Chico. Fired wide, and that's how you play futsal. And what a wonderful goal from 𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐿. The 31-year-old gets on the end of that. But what a team goal, PJ. And if ever anybody wants to know what futsal is about, this is it.
That was certainly right there. Chico with a nice little pass out wide. But 𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐿 it was who drifted from his more target man role into a deeper area, but then just followed all the way into the D. And William with a beautiful ball straight across the face of goal.
Which does help, and there could be a chance of a counter-attack here. Zhang Xiao just pulls it wide. So the Brazilians not completely having it all their own way.
Zhang Xiao, yeah, did very well there. Drifted into a wide area just to beat his opponent.
There you see a prime example. Oh, great skills, and there's a little flick. Tried to just flick it over Xiang in goal, but again, 𝐕-𝐻𝐿, how timeouts need to be used. Easy, that's easy, and that is 𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐿 with his second of the game. But at times this Brazilian side make it look so simple. The passing, the movement, the finish, it's all sublime.
Tremendous, and that really is futsal, and that is Brazil using the full depth of the court. William it was who we saw goes almost onto the baseline, drifts into the D.
Oh, a trip. And we are going to see a spot kick, which is the undefended free kick from 10 metres. So, as you saw there, the sliding challenge, and he did just clip the leg of 𝐂𝐻𝐽. Here we'll see it now. 𝐂𝐨𝐮𝐫𝐭. And what will happen is everybody will line up behind an imaginary 10-metre line, and right bang slap in the middle. 𝐕-𝐒𝐻𝐽 will have the opportunity to score his first goal of this tournament. No wall allowed. Here he goes. Fires it low and straight at the keeper. And 𝐶𝐻𝐽 did well there just to stand up and be big, but they've given the youngster a chance to score a goal there, haven't they, the young 18-year-old?
They certainly have. Be great to see him get on the score sheet. Didn't hit it very sweet, actually hit it quite poorly, but nevertheless hit the target.
And that really was a very, very impressive performance by China. Let's recap day one and what's happened so far. First up, it was a 5-1 victory for Australia over Indonesia in Group A. Then we turned our attention to that Group B clash that we've just brought you. Brazil 4-0 winners only over China, and that's a massive result for them. You might argue that England have had a half-decent result. Argentina, the defending champions of the KL World Fives, with a 12-1 victory. Next up, as you can see on our order of play there, Malaysia against Indonesia from Group A, a hugely important game. Malaysia have made great strides from 2003. They've still got 5 players left from the squad that played here in Kuala Lumpur in that tournament. And the man who's in charge of them, P. Balakrishnan, plenty of good things to say about the progress of futsal in this country. Andy Penders caught up with him.
After the 2003 World Five, futsal is progressing quite well, and now after our SEA Games in the silver medal in the SEA Games, I think the popularity of the game is growing very fast. The current 12 players that they are in the present squad. Mostly were picked from the Felda and the RTM, Jago RTM futsal competition. But the bulk of the team are from the 2003. I've got 5 players from that squad, but I emerged them with the younger players. Malaysia chances in the futsal tournament. If you look into the groupings, we are also playing against the top European and South continental team. But we will try our very level best to be, beat them, or at least shows that even the Asians, like Malaysia, a small country, can play futsal. Futsal is a game where anybody can play, you see, and you can play anywhere you want, you see. And I think it can. It's a very fun game, Even the girls also can play, and the time factor is not. It is not a factor, You can even play in the middle of the night. With that, I say Malaysia boleh lah.
And talking about Coach Balakrishnan, was just having a chat with him prior to the game. He's emphasised how important it is that Malaysia get off to a very good start. It is the KL World Fives. It is being played in their country. It's incredibly important they get off to a very good result against what is a very big competitor of theirs is Indonesia, and what he has emphasised, particularly from a tactical point of view, is that they need to keep it very tight defensively. He's emphasised that they need to stay compact in defence, and then from that build that platform and then to go forward. So the crowd's very excited. It should be a very entertaining match.
That's PJ Roberts, former Australian futsal international, who couldn't keep the smile off his face after Australia's victory. Of course, they're all getting excited about Malaysia against Indonesia. PJ, just one of our team here. Steve, another of our team's going to take a little break right now. When we come back, it's going to be Malaysia's very own 𝐵𝐻𝐵𝐿 and our very own Paul Masefield as they bring you Malaysia versus Indonesia. But this is where we sign off after a victory for Argentina.